Well then, welcome back to We Can't Spell Success Without You, PowerPlan Brand vs Brand Challenge. In this section of the channel we want to have a look at branded food, which brands are actually better for you, which can improve your health, which ones are better for weight gain, weight loss and diabetes type 2, which is the better ones for your heart conditions. We're going to look at 4 sections. First one, calories, where we can see if we can control weight by going for a low calorie food. We're going to look at saturated fat, people with heart conditions will benefit from. We're going to look at carbohydrates and find low carbohydrate food help rather than irritate diabetes type 2. And the final section we're going to look at is costs. Assuming that we buy a branded product 3 times a week, how much can we save to be healthy eating the same sort of food but by switching products over a 12-month period? So the first thing what we need to do is log onto the internet and type in nadiet.info in Google, and that will take us to our web page, We Can't Spell Success Without You. Click on downloads and then click on the brand versus brand food challenge icon. This will give us a list of all the foods that's available in categories such as canned food, ready-made meals. So today we're going to take a look at
mushrooms.
So today we're going to look at fruit and veg, and probably not the most exciting subject. One thing what we need to appreciate with fruit and veg is that historically it'll be full of nutrients, and these nutrients will be all your vitamins. It'll be vitamin C, B1, B2 and all your iron and things like that in there. Generally food these days is force grown, so we can't look at those sort of statistics anymore. What we can do is look at food as such as calories, carbohydrates, saturated fat to see which are the healthier options. But we have to be aware is that when we're actually purchasing fruit and vegetables is the source, and if you can, but it's the most expensive but you will get more nutrients in it, is by shopping organically. And if you shop organically, this means that you'll get away by eating 5 a day. Failing that, probably because of how much it actually costs. If we look at the traditional markets, where a lot of people in the 70s, 80s used to always buy the fruit and veg from markets, which is locally grown. It's not quite as good as organic, but it's far superior against supermarket type fruit and veg. And so if you can, buy from your local markets, your locally grown products, and by doing that you'll get away by eating 6 a day. And finally, you have your supermarket fruit and veg, which has been force grown. It'll have a lot of chemicals in there, it'll have very little nutrition value with your vitamins B1, B2. But it's cheap, and a lot of people go for cheap these days. If you're going for supermarket vegetables, then look at having 7 a day. So today we're going to have a look at mushrooms, and once again we're on the website. So where we need to go to is fruit and vegetables, and by clicking on there we can scroll down just a little bit and we can see over here mushrooms. I don't know if you can hear that, but fireworks are going off, so it's going to be a good one. So here we are. Once open, we see is that everything's already been sorted in calorie order, and once again, because it's fruit and vegetables, we're looking at the calories, saturated fat, carbohydrate based on 100 grams rather than the entire pack. And we can see immediately is that organic fresh or fresh locally grown at the market is better for us, where we're having around 8 to 12 calories. Interestingly enough, and this is one of the reasons why we do brand versus brand, is that if we look at a budget frozen, so you get 600 grams of frozen mushrooms, and they're coming at a staggering 108 calories, which once again is great if you want to gain weight, and that's the brand to go for. However, you know, you could be eating frozen mushrooms thinking, oh, I'm eating healthily, throw them in an omelette or whatever, and you know, the weight comes on, and it's simply because you just need to go for fresh rather than frozen. Even the supermarket frozen ones are still coming in at 41 calories, when the fresh versions between 8 and 16 calories, which is quite a chunk really. So there we go. So organic fresh to lose weight or locally grown at the market. To gain weight, look for the budget frozen mushrooms in the local supermarket. So now we've reorganised the table, and this time we're looking at saturated fat, and once again, similar story. If you're worried about your heart condition, if you're worried about strokes, then it basically follows in line with the number of calories in saturated fat. What you want to avoid is going for frozen, because suddenly we double that to 0.2 saturated fat. And obviously it's still the fruit and veg, so it's still very, very good for you. And that is a very low number, but being aware of it, it's obviously better to eat. And once again, if we go for the budget, we might save money. That is 0.8, it's almost 1 gram of saturated fat, which is quite a lot. In conclusion, for heart issues, eat fresh rather than frozen. Be aware if you want to lose weight but you're worried about diabetes type 2, then stick to fresh. If your weight's reasonable and your diabetes is reasonably controlled, then you can go for the frozen. Or if you want to put weight on, then you can go for budget frozen there, which will do the trick. And amazingly enough is that obviously supermarkets probably don't sell as much as the branded frozen that they have, so they've laced it with carbohydrates. So going for supermarket frozen, there we're looking at 5.8 grams per 100 grams in frozen mushrooms, and that would, if you eat quite a lot of that thinking it's healthy, that could easily irritate your diabetes levels. Stay away from supermarket frozen. Even consider, if your weight's okay, going for budget frozen rather than standard supermarket frozen, which, as we can tell in price there, the budget frozen is 95p, and the normal frozen, supermarket frozen, is £2. So you'd even save money avoiding the supermarket frozen. You'd even save money avoiding the budget frozen. 12 calories, and it's going to be 80p. If we go for the supermarket frozen, then obviously we've got more calories in there because they want to preserve the product to make sure it sells. We've got an higher level of saturated fat, but we've also got a huge amount of carbohydrate compared to the other options, which is at £2. So if we now go back to the website, click on downloads, and we go to Open Wealth Savings Calculator. Hit options, and we put that detail in there. So we put here that we're going to eat 3 portions a week. And it basically says is that yes, you will eat less food. Obviously you get a lot more in the frozen than what you do fresh. So you probably want less fresh anyway, so it doesn't go off. But you will lose weight. This would be a good switch for diabetes, and it would be a good switch for any heart stroke issues. You will be saving the equivalent of 56 teaspoons of sugar yearly. And the main thing is that because you're paying 80p rather than £2, you're worried about weight. By doing the switch, you'd actually, the body will encourage itself to actually lose around £8 per year. So there we go. So that's it for this brand versus brand food challenge. I hope you find it useful, and now we know which products you need to lose weight, gain weight, saturated fat issues, and of course diabetes type 2, trying to avoid sugar. By switching, we can actually adjust our budgets accordingly. So thank you very much for watching this video, and we'll see you soon.